Pinocchio.
Once upon a time, there lived a woodcarver named Dimitro. He made puppets for a living. He was lonely and dreamed very much of having a son. One day, he managed to carve a very beautiful wooden boy. He named him Pinocchio. If only Pinocchio were alive and not made of wood, sighed Dimitro as he prayed to the starry sky. He believed that his lucky star was shining upon him. At night, while Dimitro was sleeping, a star came down from the sky and turned into a fairy. "I will grant your wish, Dimitro," whispered the fairy, waving her magic wand. At that very moment, Pinocchio came to life. "I'm alive, like a real boy," rejoiced Pinocchio. "Yes, but you must be honest, sincere, and brave. You must learn to tell good from evil and bring joy to Dimitro." "But how will I know what is good and what is bad?" asked Pinocchio. "You must make wise decisions," the fairy advised him, and then she disappeared. In the morning, when Dimitro woke up, he felt immense happiness because he finally had a son. He could hardly believe how lucky he was. Pinocchio helped him, but after a few days, he wanted to go to school. "Father," said Pinocchio, "I would also like to go to school like other children." So Dimitro used his savings to buy school supplies and books. Pinocchio took them, thanked him, and set off on his way to school. As he walked, he heard cheerful music. Being curious, he left the path to see where it was coming from. Not far from the road stood a circus. Pinocchio wanted to look inside and immediately asked how he could get in. "You need to buy a ticket," a man from the circus told him. "But I don't have any money, only my school books." So Pinocchio exchanged his books for a ticket to the circus. On stage, wooden puppets were performing. Seeing how similar they were to him, Pinocchio joined them. The circus owner noticed a puppet that could move on its own and thought it would be very useful for his show. He grabbed Pinocchio and locked him in a cage. Pinocchio explained that he could not stay there, that he had to go to school. He said he had only been curious about the performance, but now he regretted it. He had made a mistake. "Ah, boy, here are your books and your money. Now go," said the owner, releasing him. Pinocchio took his books, thanked him, and hurried to school. Now he understood his mistake and promised himself to behave better next time. Soon, a cunning fox crossed his path. "Where are you going, boy?" "To school." "Why go to school? I will show you a magical place you will like." Pinocchio left the road again and let the fox lead him into the forest. It was indeed a wonderful forest. The fox had not lied. There were sweets, toys, and many children everywhere, just like him. So many friends to play with, he thought excitedly. But after some time, while playing, he felt something strange on his head. He touched it and realized his ears had grown and were covered with fur. He looked in the mirror. He had donkey ears and a tail. The forest was enchanted. Once again, he failed to recognize what was right and trusted the fox. He quickly ran away as fast as he could. When he finally escaped the forest, his ears and tail disappeared. But in his panic, he hadn't watched where he was going and ended up by the sea. Suddenly, he heard voices and footsteps behind him. "The fox must be chasing me," he thought, and jumped into the water.
Pinocchio swam, wondering how to escape his trouble. Suddenly, a whale appeared, opened its huge mouth, and swallowed him whole. Inside the whale's belly, he found a man sitting sadly.
"Father, is that you?" cried Pinocchio joyfully when he recognized Dimitro and ran into his arms. "My Pinocchio! I have been looking everywhere for you. Where have you been?" "When I was on my way to school this morning, robbers attacked me and dragged me away," Pinocchio began to lie. But as soon as he spoke, his nose grew longer. "And when they realized I was only a wooden puppet, they threw me into the sea," he continued, but his nose kept growing longer and longer. "Really?" asked Dimitro. "Yes," Pinocchio lied again, and his nose grew so long it barely fit inside the whale. At that moment, Pinocchio felt ashamed. He understood that lying was wrong. Even though he was very embarrassed about all his mistakes, he confessed everything to Dimitro. As soon as he told the truth, his nose returned to its normal size. Dimitro then told him how he had gone searching for him. When he couldn't find him on land, he set out on a raft into the sea, but the whale swallowed him. While they were talking, the whale became tired and fell asleep. Since it was snoring with its mouth open, Dimitro and Pinocchio were able to escape easily. They both returned home and were happy that everything had ended well. That evening, the fairy appeared in their home. She asked Pinocchio how he was doing. He admitted that he had not known how to tell good from bad. He feared she might turn him back into a puppet, but she simply smiled. "At least now you understand what is right. You were brave and sincere. You have finally learned that lying is wrong. We learn to tell good from evil all our lives. Learn from your mistakes and become a real boy." The fairy waved her wand, and Pinocchio turned into a real boy. From that moment on, he knew that he should not trust everyone immediately, that he must listen to Dimitro and never lie. And so Dimitro and his Pinocchio lived happily ever after.